Hi, I've been really into Nomad recently and I just want to share how you can go from this to this. A quick disclaimer, this is not like a Nomad tutorial. I don't really go into like every single thing that Nomad has to offer. I'm only showing the things that I actively use or have been using in my past models. I'm also not a 3D expert. I'm not a 3D modeler. I'm not like in the industry or a professional. I just bought Nomad one day and I've been using it and I love it. And I don't know if it's right or not, probably not. But yeah, I'm just gonna share how I do things on there. So yeah. So I usually start with a sketch that I draw in Procreate and then I bring it over into Nomad. And then you just import it through background and then you select the little box next to reference image and then you just import your image into Nomad like that. And then you can fiddle around with the placement of the image itself. And it does stay locked, like wherever you place it. Like even if you move around the thing that you're modeling, the image in the background will not move. And here I took two spheres and I joined them and then I'm going to remesh them. And remeshing is really important. In like a very not technical way of explaining it, the two spheres that I merged together, they are joined together, but they're not fully joined together. So remeshing takes like the polygons from both of those spheres and actually merges them together. So I made this quick example, like if you wanted to combine this cat ear and this head, you would remesh and you can see that it actually like merges into one another when you smooth it over after remeshing. And that's what I did for this character's head. You could just stretch and pull like just from one sphere, but I personally think it's easier if you take two different things and stretch and pull and then remesh them together. But that's like a personal thing. You don't have to do it that way. Like everything is all personal. There's no right way to do anything. So another thing that's really important is the subdividing tool. When you work with a 3D model, it works off polygons. So you can see here with this ear, when I use the crease tool, you can see it's like kind of pixelated, right? It's because it has like not a lot of polygons on it. If I were to crank up with the subdivide tool, you can see that when I make that swirl again, it's like way sharper and crisper. And that's good when you want to make detailed lines like that, but you don't want to crank it up so high where like this ear, for example, just has 3 bajillion vertices, because that's like way too many polygons for just such a small thing. And if you do that with too many objects, like your iPad will just not be able to handle that. So it's a really good tool to make your thing look smoother if you want to do details, but don't spam it. This is a quick small thing. When you clone something or duplicate it, sometimes the pivot is not where you want it to be. And a quick and easy fix for that is if you tap pivot, it'll basically make it so that you can edit the pivot of the object that you're selecting. You can just push center and angle and then it'll just snap it right onto the thing that you're working on. So that's basically what I did like 3 seconds ago. Another big thing that I like to do is I add light to my scene. I usually only use the sun, so you'll see here I'm like kind of playing around with it. It just lights up everything on your screen. There are different light settings that I don't really show because I don't use them, but you should try them out. They're all fun and it's fun to light your thing up in interesting ways. Here I'm remeshing and smoothing and then I use the trim tool. I will go into the trim tool in a little bit. Okay, and this is the trim tool. It does what it says it does. It kind of trims whatever you draw. It's a really useful tool when you want to make like cuts like this, and you see that I remesh and then subdivide and then smooth, because I think that's the most important thing after every edit that you do. And now color. Color is important. Coloring is fun. So to color, you just tap on the thing you want to color, you go to paint, and then on the bottom left, you can change the color, the roughness, the metal. You can play around with different materials that are already preset on Nomad. I typically don't use the preset ones. I usually play around with the roughness or the metal, and then I just paint straight on the thing that I'm working on. Back to subdividing. It's also important when you're coloring, because I'll show right here, if you have really low polygons and it's all pixely like that, when you paint on it, you see it looks super rough and super not smooth, but then on the other ball it's way smoother. It's the same thing on your models. If you want it to look smoother, you up the subdivide, but again, don't like just spam it. Just use the amount necessary to make your lines look smooth. And here I'm just coloring the blush, and you can easily do that by just lowering the opacity or the pressure of the brush to make it not as harsh as I'm doing right here. I'm adding some blush around the ears and the cheeks and all that. Coloring is so fun. Alright, another tool I use a lot is the tube tool. You can see that it's really easy to use. You just draw a line, and then once you hit confirm, you can edit the placements of the dots or little markers to make your thing bend or shape it in the way that you want. And then when you're done with that, you validate, and then I always subdivide and then smooth afterwards, because its default is not smooth, and so I just do it myself. Another really important tool that I don't really use often, but it's very useful when it does become the case that you do need it. It's the mask tool. You see, I'm trying to draw his mouth, and I was going to draw it on Procreate, but then I thought it would look weird because his mouth shape is very interesting and very 3D, so I busted out the mask tool, and you can see I'm trying to make the general shape of his mouth, and then I invert the mask so I only affect the inside of the mouth, and then I push it in a little bit, I smooth it, and then I clear the mask, and then I kind of move around the mouth shape to make it better fit, fix up some edges, and then I use the inflate tool, I believe. I also barely ever use this, but it is perfect for the situation because he's got kind of like protruding lips. I'll show it in a second. Yeah, right here I use the inflate tool, and you can tell I like never use it because it's like pushed all the way down at the bottom of my tool list. But it was perfect in this scenario to make his kind of voluptuous upper lips. when you're done with your model and you want to export it out into Procreate, for example, like I do, all you gotta do is go to the folder icon, scroll all the way down. I like the transparent background setting on, and then there's a button that just says export PNG, and then you just, on your upper right, you just save images, and then you're done. You open Procreate, import your image, and there it is, where you can edit and change the colors, add noise, chromatic aberration, whatever you want to do, and you're done. Hopefully that all made sense. If not, please let me know. Maybe I'll make another video expanding on some things, but yeah, bye!